friends, and I'm back with another short video on paralanguage as I had told you the last time. What is paralanguage? I'm actually continuing in a series of short videos on nonverbal communication, and paralanguage is an extremely important existing form of nonverbal communication in our lives, which we don't really pay attention to because it is at such a subconscious and unconscious level when we are talking. To give a little bit of a definition on what paralanguage is, it is also called paralinguistics, vocalics or vocalization. It is that non-lexical component of verbal or word communication which is not spoken out. So when I say non-lexical, I am talking about the words which are not spoken. These are words that are not heard by anybody. These are things that are seen and felt by the person you are communicating with. So what exactly forms paralanguage? There are a long list of things, but mainly we are talking about intonation. How do we speak? What exactly? And no, do not mix it up with accent or pronunciation. I'm talking about intonation, modulation of your speech. So we have terms like volume, pitch, rate. How fast are we speaking or how slow we are speaking? What is our tone at that time? And along with that voice of ours, what are the expressions and gestures that accompany our speech? That is what paralanguage is all about. We are using paralanguage almost every time we speak to people, every time we speak to friends, at work. Sometimes paralanguage can be used even if you know about paralanguage. You can probably make out whether you're speaking to the boss of a company or you're speaking to somebody else in that company, because that is the tone. You could probably close your eyes and say, yes, this is probably the number one person in the department that I'm talking to. The tone comes across that way. Very, very important. When we are writing, in written communication, we all know we use punctuation marks. And the majorly used punctuation marks are a comma, a semicolon, a colon, a question mark, an exclamation mark, a full stop, and so on and so forth. While we speak, do we also use punctuation marks? The answer is yes, we do. Say for example, I look at something very nice and says, wow. My face says wow, my tone says wow, and yes, there is an exclamation mark at the end of that word. While you have heard me and you hear a lot of people speaking, we make a conscious effort to stop maybe for a millisecond and then start talking again. That is either a comma or maybe even a semicolon, as it might be required in that particular scenario over there. How does body language match up with my tone and what I am saying? It's like picking up the phone and saying, hi. And picking up the phone and saying, hey, how are you doing? It's probably the same thing, but the way we speak it out comes across differently to the other person. I'm sure a lot of people who are into telecommunication and actually do not interact with the customer, one of the first things they are taught is, we should be able to hear the smile in your voice. We should know that you're smiling at the other end of the phone. Initially we might think, how does it matter? But yes, it matters. You can make out from that tone of the voice. This reminds me of what one of my daughters used to tell me, that her boyfriend has a phone voice and he has a otherwise voice. I have another daughter who uses sarcasm almost every day in most of her communication with friends and with me. Sarcasm is the best example of paralanguage. But unless you know, you wouldn't be able to catch that sarcasm. Today she probably turned around and tell me, that's the way I speak, Amma. So even without, shrugging your shoulders, when you actually say, that's the way I speak, it becomes a part of the way you speak. So I don't want to go on and on about it. I think by now you've got an idea about it. When I talk about pauses and speech, the speed or the rate of the words that we use, there's a difference. I remember an instance when I was teaching in a college and I was dictating notes. Friends, it's very important to know that the rate of writing words and the rate of speaking words are completely different. A normal human being is able to write 12 to 14 words maximum in a minute. But a person can actually speak 10 times as many words. So we are talking about 120 words per minute can be spoken by people and understood by the other person. I'm not talking about that kind of a speech. Clear speech can go up to that. So going back to what I was doing in college, I was dictating notes. So when you're dictating notes, there has to be a particular pace at which you do it. And there was a student of mine sitting in the front row and I could see his hand running across the page. So after a few minutes, I actually stopped my dictation and I called out to that kid and I said, "Can you read out the last line that you wrote in your notebook?" He looked left and he looked right, and I asked both those students to close their notebooks so that he wouldn't be able to read it out from their notebooks. So then he finally sheepishly put his head down and he said, "Ma'am, I'm really sorry, but I wasn't writing what you were saying." I said, "Okay, fine, not a problem, but why?" He said, my pen doesn't have a refill. I lent him my pen and he started writing, and towards the end of the class, many students were curious as to how did I know he wasn't writing? Here's your answer, friends. And any of you out there who are lecturers, keep an eye out for your students who might think they can pull the wool over your eyes. It was the paralanguage that spoke out to me. Knowing fully well that a person cannot write more than 12 words per minute, his hand was moving too fast across the page. Look for these silent hints that people give you. The way somebody comes and puts a glass in front of you, way somebody comes and says, "Here, eat." Or somebody says, "Here, have your lunch." There's a difference. I remember a very favorite example of mine from hotel days is, "Here's your glass of orange juice. Here's your glass of freshly squeezed orange juice." It's the same orange juice coming in the same glass, but the way I tell the other person makes a difference. We stress on certain words to get a particular meaning across to that person. I would end the session today with an example where Zana is going to help me do this, after which I will give you another example. So here I have a list of, a list of sentences which have been written, and one word has been underlined in each of these sentences. Zana, are you ready? Start by speaking out the first sentence loudly, stressing on this word.
I never said he stole my money.
What does that convey? That I didn't say it. The next one.
I never said he stole my money.
I never said it. Why are you saying this to me?
I never said he stole my money.
I may have implied it maybe in a message or maybe in a WhatsApp or an email. I didn't say it.
I never said he stole my money.
It's possible somebody else stole it. So I didn't say he stole it.
I never said he stole my money.
He could have just borrowed it. He could have just taken it.
I never said he stole my money.
He could have stolen someone else's money. He could have stolen your friend's money.
I never said he stole my money.
He probably stole something else. It's the same sentence, my friends, but when I stress on a different word, the meaning comes out very differently. Examples of this are available in all possible languages. I'm just going to take a couple of more minutes of your time, and I'm going to demonstrate to you the speed or the rate of speaking. And the faster you speak without the required pauses, the chances that the person in front of you will not understand. Reminds me of a very good orator, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. Some people think he's a great orator, but you've got to have a lot of patience to be able to listen to him, because he has really long pauses between his words. And there are others who speak with their teeth clenched. That's the way they speak. How much can you understand if I were to continuously keep speaking like this? So the clarity of speech is also paralanguage, and it is extremely important. I'm hoping that most of you people watching this video would understand Hindi. So I'm going to give you a little demonstration on fast speaking and how much can the person in front of me understand what I'm saying. ये मैं हिंदी में बताती हूँ आपको. There are people you know who sell medicine, जो दवाइयाँ बेचते हैं रोड पे खड़े होके. इन लोग कुछ बोलते रहते हैं. Most of the time हमें कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है. तो पेश है एक छोटा सा नमूना. हाँ तो साहिबान मेहरबान कदरदान धूपदान बीकदान सबसे बड़ा दान कन्यादान. 40 साल शिराजीत के पर्वत से उल्टा लटका था. आज आया हूँ, आंखों का अंजन है, दांतों का मंजन है. कल खाओगे, आज खाओगे, कल मर जाओगे तो शिकायत करने नहीं आओगे. ये क्या है? ये गुलाब का फूल है. गुलाब के फूल 3 तरीके के होते हैं. एक गुलाब के फूल लोग अपने लड़कियां अपने बालों में लगाती हैं. एक गुलाब के फूल नेहरू जी अपने अचकन में लगाते थे और एक गुलाब के फूल का गुलकंद बनता है. गुलकंद पेट के लिए फायदेमंद होता है. पेट बीमारियों का जड़ होता है. जड़ खरबूजे का लंबा होता है. खरबूजा खरबूजे के देखकर रंग बदलता है. रंग नेपाली का बड़ा साफ होता है. नेपाली बड़ा वफादार होता है. वफादार तो कुत्ता भी होता है. कुत्ता की तुम टेढ़ी होती है. सीधी कर दो तो आगे. I'm sure a lot of you people are going to try doing this. This can go on and on. A very small example of how important paralanguage is. Be very, very cautious and careful when you speak with your body, when you speak with your tone. Convey what you're saying in the right way. And as an extension of paralanguage, my next session is going to be non-verbal, but I'm going to talk more about gestures and your actual body, and the term for it is kinesics or kinesics. So till next time, be careful of what you say. Have fun.